I usually answer questions from theists for atheists, but this time I'm going to try something a little bit different. Answering questions for atheists from an atheist. This ought to be interesting. I stumbled across a small YouTube channel called Grr Mania, where an atheist is asking other atheists questions, and I thought that would be an interesting change of pace. After all, most theists ask a lot of passive-aggressive questions of the non-religious, and don't really care what we say in return, because they're just going to recast it all to make their side look better. Dishonesty is a serious problem, as I'm sure you can all well imagine. But here I'm going to answer 10 questions for atheists from an atheist, and I doubt that problem is going to arise. So let's go see what an atheist wants to know.
Here are 10 questions that I have for my fellow atheists. If you are a former theist, at what age did you become an atheist?
That's kind of a hard question to answer because, at least in my case, it took a long time to finally throw off the shackles of religion. There isn't just one age where I just rejected religion and that was it. It took a long period of time over which I got less and less religious until there was no religion left in my life. And I think that's true of most people transitioning out of religion. It isn't a light switch that got flipped. It's a dimmer that slowly got moved. I can't even say when I finally realized that I had no more beliefs in religion. It was probably in my early 20s, but that's about as close as I can put it.
Are you an outspoken anti-theist, or are you an atheist who doesn't mind religion?
I am an absolute anti-theist, and that has nothing at all to do with being formally religious. It has to do with looking at religion in the real world and recognizing just how dangerous and damaging and destructive it actually is. I care what mind poison people stuff into their heads, just like I care what political ideologies they support. But religion is insidious in its ability to get in there, grab on tight, and control every aspect of your life. And it's wholly irrational. You can't talk people out of religion because religion is emotional, not rational. You cannot intellectually argue someone out of a position that they never intellectually argued themselves into in the first place.
What do you consider to be the best argument for God?
I really can't answer that because I've seen absolutely no arguments for God that I consider at all convincing. Every single one falls apart under even the most cursory of evaluation. Because if there were any convincing arguments for any gods, I'd probably believe in them, wouldn't I?
What do you consider to be the best argument against God?
The only argument I need is the complete and total lack of evidence that any gods actually exist. Because, really, I couldn't care less what emotional, philosophical arguments you throw at me. Until I see that objectively defensible evidence, I will not believe. And neither should anybody else.
Do your loved ones, as in parents or significant other, genuinely fear that you'll go to hell? And if they do, how do you deal with their fear?
Not so far as I know, because none of my loved ones are strongly religious, if they're religious at all. They used to be, but after all of the years that I've been an atheist, that my whole family has now become atheists, I think pretty much everyone else has just given up. And honestly, I can't control what crazy things people have in their heads. If they want to be terrified that space aliens are going to come and surgically remove their elbows, that's on them, not on me. Given the chance, I will try to dissuade them of that insane notion, but I can't be and will not be held responsible for what ridiculous things they believe. All I can do is live my life, and they can live theirs.
What religion do you consider to be the worst?
Well, most of them, depending on what time period you're talking about, although at the moment, radical Islam is the most demonstrably damaging religion around. Christianity has been uniformly terrible in the past, though, so as I said, it's kind of a sliding scale. But I even have problems with things like Jainism, which locks adherents into an absurdly unworkable belief system that keeps them from living in the real world as productive citizens. So, all of them are terrible in their own way.
Is there an argument that you wish fellow atheists would stop using?
I don't know, because I don't really pay much attention to atheist arguments. The burden of proof is entirely on the religious side, because they're the ones making all the claims. I simply refute those claims and stop. I don't have to prove that there are no gods any more than any atheist does. I just have to expect that the religious have a good reason to be taken seriously, which unfortunately for them, they don't.
Have you ever changed the mind of a theist after a discussion or debate?
Not a single one, and I don't take credit for changing anyone's mind, because only the individual can change their own mind. I can only plant some seeds. And like me, this kind of thing takes place over a very, very long time. Have I had friends that were once religious become non-religious? Absolutely. And I know that we had a lot of theological discussions over many, many years, which may have contributed to that change, but it certainly didn't cause it. They deserve all the credit for throwing off their former religious stupidity. I just poked and prodded here and there.
What advice do you have for atheists who are brought up in religious households in communities who fear telling their peers about their lack of belief in God?
Now, honestly, I don't advocate anyone quote-unquote coming out to anyone about anything. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world. Just live your life the way you want to live it. Don't announce it. Don't tell anyone unless they come and ask you directly. Just be yourself and screw everybody else. And that goes for being gay or anything else. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. You just have to be a good, responsible person. And far too many people think they have to sit their loved ones down and have a direct encounter. And I think that's terribly damaging. Just be you. The rest will work itself out in the end.
What do you think of self-proclaimed gay Christians and gay Muslims, considering that neither one of their respective holy books are fond of homosexuality?
I don't care. Both the Bible and the Quran are big books of multiple choice anyhow. That's why you get so many distinct sects of both religions that think completely contradictory things from each other. If you're gay and you want to be Christian, go ahead. If you're gay and you want to be Muslim, knock yourself out, I guess. I don't respect that choice, but it's your life. You do what you want to do, but be responsible for the choices that you make. It's no skin off my backside what you do.
Leave your answers in the comments, or if you make a video response, post a link to it and I'll watch it. Please share this video with your friends and take care. Thanks.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'd like to thank Grr Mania for making this video. It's refreshing to take on some new and interesting questions after looking at the crap that the religious come up with all the time. Please go take a look at this video on his channel so you can see the other responses. But for people watching this video, and I guess that would include everyone because otherwise you wouldn't know what I'm about to ask, what do you think? What are your answers to these questions? Please post them below or go over to Grr Mania's site and post them there. Do you think I'm off the mark on anything I said? If so, let me know and we can have a conversation. As long as you're down there, why don't you make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and if you like content like this, make sure that you go to my Patreon or Maker Support pages and maybe give me a little support. Content creators are struggling today more than ever before. So until next time, think, be rational, be reasonable, and don't drink from the well of religious mind poison. You're better than that.